it's Melissa coming to you live from the Urban Homestead. So I have started what I'm going to call a social experiment. I am immune suppressed due to an illness I had just before Christmas. So when I go out grocery shopping, I actually do wear a mask. And my reasoning for that is that I am a face toucher. I'm always touching my face. And I can't really trust myself to not do that when I'm at the store. So I designed my own face mask. So what I did was I saw an elderly couple looking for masks, made it very clear that these are not to replace PPE, they're not medical grade, but they will stop the transition of germs, whatever, from your hands to your face. So this is kind of the basic design. They come in fun colors and they just kind of fold over here. So there are 2 layers of cotton and a layer of flannel. You can still breathe quite easily in them and they don't fog up my glasses. So the start of this social experiment was I kind of want to see how Canadians feel about bartering. So to be very clear, I am not taking money from people. If they would like to help with the cost of supplies, they do cost around like $3.50 each to make, and then they take me about 25 minutes to cut, and so 25 to 35 minutes depending on how many times I have to rethread my sewing machine, because at the ripe old age of 33 I feel like I could probably use some reading glasses because it's getting pretty dang hard to thread my sewing machine needle. That said, it started out with one couple, and in the past when people have had things for low prices on our local buy and sell, I have sent them direct messages and offered swaps. So I do a lot of like canning and baking. I make a lot of jam, that kind of thing. So what I would do is if it was an item that was about like $15, I'd offer a jar of jam and a loaf of bread. And that was always super well received. I want to just see kind of, if I was the one asking for a trade, what kind of things I would get. Okay, so I'm going to say usually for homemade goods, I charge double the price that I spent on the materials. Okay, so I had all this stuff, but say the materials are $3.50, so like a value of $7. So I've been trying to get trades for it. The elderly couple was struggling to find things to trade, so I said to them, like, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you just make me a promise that when all of this coronavirus thing kind of fizzles, that you'll go to a local restaurant and leave a good tip. They did not like that idea. So they gave me a little tiny bottle of soap, and I am more than happy with that because I'm so sick of boring smelling hand soap. So it's kind of like Melaleuca soap, so I'm like, that's pretty good. And then when I guess the word kind of spread, so I have a lady who works at a local grocery store coming to pick up 5 masks today, so she wants to wear them, I guess, while working at the till. And so far her trade deal is pretty epic. Okay, so the first thing that she offered me was an electric hedge trimmer. Okay, she says she could probably get about $25 for it used. That's great. A Columbia rain jacket, a pair of red gloves, and a plant pot. So I'm gonna take it. See, like I live in a townhouse. We have a 2-tiered deck that we're in the process of turning into like a square foot garden. Definitely no hedges. But what I'm gonna do at the end of this social experiment is amass a giant pile of traded goods, and then kind of see what I can do with them. So I do have a neighbor who has a lot of hedges, and maybe she could use a hedge trimmer, or I'll put it on our free swap. So I'm gonna see how this goes. I've also been telling people that, like, I make most of my sewn crafts out of recycled fabric. So I've told them, like, things like polar fleece I can always use, old towels, flannel, cotton broadcloth, even like t-shirts and stuff, because I turn those into reusable bags. People are super uncomfortable with giving me their old clothes. I mean, maybe that's weird, but it's something I use and something they would probably get rid of anyway. So I've kind of been telling them, I'm like, okay, so our local thrift stores are closed because they're not an essential service, which is, I mean, I hope all their volunteers are staying safe and happy. I do miss their faces though. I do love my local thrift store. But that said, people can't drop off things that are still good and usable. So I feel like a lot of people will be taking those items to the dump. I've also seen a ton of people on the Facebook buy and sell trying to give things away for free. So that said, I seem to have something people want. I'm going to give them access to that item regardless of whether they give me a quote fair trade or not. And then I'm gonna share what I get from it. So I'll keep you guys posted. So far, every single order has asked me if they can just pay me. And I'm like, no. Okay, so far I have gotten soap, a dozen really big, beautiful fruit muffins. Those came from someone I know who has been quarantining, and so I trust that they're safe. And then we pop them in the freezer for a few days, but they are so good. Today I'm going to be hopefully collecting my hedge trimmer, rain jacket, red gloves, flower pot. I also am making 11 masks for a family who really, they're cleaning out their greenhouse and giving me all of their extras. To me, I'm like, okay, so if I buy a tomato plant at Canadian Tire, that's like $5. Okay, this is good. I'm gonna get food that I can grow for my family. So let's see how this goes. Canadians, bartering. It's not something that needs to be so uncomfortable. Let's do this. I will keep you guys updated with the bartering. Excited. Look at my first trade haul. I got a Columbia rain jacket, some sort of high-vis vest, flower pot, Velcro for crafting, plug-in hedge trimmers, a little bin, some sort of green bag, a carpet or tapestry of some kind, and awesome Cape Breton backpack. Also, an M&M's Save the Earth reusable bag. Now,